This is a party political broadcast on behalf of the Principles of Politics Party. Number 4. The Perils of T.T.I.P.
One of the things we in the PoP group are particularly keen to stress is this. Often, much of what really matters in politics goes under the radar. A case in point, the Transatlantic Trade and Investment Partnership. Never heard of this before? Well, that's not surprising. TTIP is a highly secretive, i.e. undemocratic, series of negotiations between Europe and the United States designed, so they say, to free up trade between these two great economic blocs. But this is highly puzzling. Trade between the United States and the European Union is already relatively free. It's also been said that the negotiated agreement will increase employment on both sides of the Atlantic. But even the European Commission's own initial assessment suggested a loss of employment in both the United States and Europe. So, one is bound to ask, what's it really all about? And the answer appears to be this. T.T.I.P. is an attempt by the business elites on both sides of the Atlantic to remove barriers to the unadulterated pursuit of pure profit. Things like annoying governmental interventions in markets designed to improve social outcomes, the destruction of union power, minimum wage legislation, and so forth. It's also all about the removal of all barriers which would otherwise prevent the privatisation of certain public institutions. There is even a provision, the so-called investor-state dispute settlement, which would enable private transnational corporations to sue national governments for pursuing policies which would otherwise damage their profitability. All this, of course, potentially spells the end of the ability of national governments to pursue anything like an independent policy which happens to conflict with a global neoliberal vision of economic and social order. And this is not just about losing our NHS, for example. That's just the small tip of a very, very large iceberg. Oh, and they haven't even asked you what you think about it.